In commemoration of World Refugee Week, we bring you a repeat broadcast of one of the episodes we have aired before, where we looked at the journey of 24-year-old migrant Moses Ncube from Zimbabwe to South Africa.
In first person, the journey from trauma to survival.
Hi, I am Bomkazi Malobola. Welcome to SABC News' 4th episode of the podcast series, In First Person, where we capture first-hand accounts of traumatic experiences and the often challenging journey to survival. South Africa is home to millions of foreign nationals, some coming into the country illegally to look for greener pastures. Many citizens from countries such as neighboring Botswana and Zimbabwe often leave their home countries in their numbers to pursue a better life in South Africa. According to Stats SA, Gauteng and the Western Cape have the highest number of immigrants. The country's economic hub, Gauteng, accounts for over 45% of net international migration, with the Western Cape at just over 11%.
Coming up.
I was going underground stuff. It was dangerous. My brother passed away when I was young, but I saw the strain on her. She couldn't tell us as a kid that she can't take care of us.
In this episode, we follow the journey of 24-year-old migrant Moses Ncube, not his real name. Unlike many of the stories we capture, for Moses, survival is a day-to-day struggle.
12, when things started to be difficult, where I was staying with my mother, since my brother passed away when I was young, so I was staying with my mom, and we were having a big family. It was a big family, maybe a family of 7. And my mom, she's the one who was working, but she's a teacher even up to now, but she couldn't afford to take care of us, the 7 of us, because the money she was getting, it was something like, if I put it into rands, it was something like 3,500, somewhere there, 3,500 rands. So me, I'm someone, I love my mom even up to now. So taking that decision to leave home, it's something that I think of maybe for something like 3 to 4 months, because I was monitoring the situation. I thought things would be better one day, but I saw the strain on her. She couldn't tell us as a kid that she can't take care of us anymore.
Besides sharing borders, South Africa and Zimbabwe also have minerals and high levels of poverty in common. Scores of people die yearly in each country due to illegal mining. In May 2019, the SABC reported that 8 bodies of illegal miners had been recovered in the capital, Harare. In December of the same year, 7 illegal miners' bodies were discovered in Benoni in the East Rand, a popular area for illegal mining activity in South Africa. The deaths are attributed to both the lack of safety underground and violence between rival syndicates. Moses was exposed to this life at the tender age of 16.
So I went from the town I was staying. I left the town I was staying, and I went to this other city where they do mining, illegal mining. I went there. By that time I was 16. Yeah. Then I went there. I started to work. At first I was not digging. I was working just to get water for those who were panning and stuff, that light job. But the money I was getting also, it wasn't good enough for me to get a passport and bus fare, and I wanted to leave something home also before I left. And then I started to dig now. I was now digging. They taught me how to do it. I was going underground. It was dangerous because I remember the guy I was working with, he lost his leg. And that day I was with him underground when what do you call it, a heifer, it falls on his leg. I managed to raise money. At first I raised something like $400. It's 5 to 6,000 rand. I went to apply for my passport, and I applied for my passport. I have to wait for 6 weeks so that I can collect it. During that 6 week waiting period, I went back to dig. I raised some money again. It was around 7,000. I went back home. I bought things, groceries for my mom and stuff. And then I told her I'm leaving. She said, "Where are you going?" I said, I think I have to go to South Africa because all the people who were living better, their relatives, most of the relatives working here. So I was just thinking, maybe I have to go. She asked me, "Okay, you are going to South Africa. What are you going to do there?" I said, "I'll see when I get there. Because even if I can do gardening, he and him, you can't get a job for gardening. Who can afford to pay as a gardener? How much will you get as a gardener? What will I do with that small money?"
Like many other countries, South Africa has strict regulations relating to foreign nationals studying, working, or seeking asylum in the country. The Refugee Amendment Act requires an asylum seeker to report to a refugee reception office within 5 days of arrival into the country. An economic refugee, Moses was full of hope when he arrived.
I did my research, I think, for 3 days. Now to come, I was contacting people who were this side. They were telling me, you have to do this. Like, they were telling me, if you want to come and look for a job, you must go through Botswana so that you get at least more days on your passport, like visiting days. You can get something like 90 days. I said, okay, I went to Botswana. When I arrived in Botswana at the border post, they asked me, where are you going? I told them, I'm going to South Africa. I said, why are you using this way? I said, I want to buy some stuff on my way. I said, okay. They wrote a note for me. It was written on transit. And they put 3 days on that permit for me. I was supposed to spend only 3 days in Botswana, then I'll leave. I went there in Botswana. I slept there. First night, I slept at the rank in Botswana. The following day, I was walking around waiting for buses to come to South Africa. I think I was caught more than 4 to 5 times by police, questioning me about my documents and my whereabouts. Where am I from? What am I doing? And then later that day, I took my bus. I came to South Africa. When I arrived here, everything changed from even, I don't know how to explain it, but when I passed a Botswana board, because I came, is it Bafokeng? The infrastructure, environment, you can see, when I'm comparing it from where I'm coming from in Zim and Botswana. I was now having that belief that, okay, so it's true that, yeah, there are opportunities. Because once you see the infrastructure, you can tell. I said, yeah, I think I can make it. I arrived in Johannesburg. It was late in the evening. I slept at Park Station. And then the following day, the person who was supposed to come and pick me, she didn't pitch up.
Things did not turn out the way Moses had imagined. Being stranded in a big city like Johannesburg and far away from home was both intimidating and frustrating. He had to think on his feet just to survive the first day in South Africa, forcing him to adapt quickly to his new environment.
So now I'm stranded, but I was having some extra cash on me. I went out, I bought food on that, what do you call it, Derogos in Small Street, near Methodist Church. So when I bought my food, I met these other two ladies. I think 2 old ladies, because maybe they're around 50 going upwards years old. I asked them because I knew about Methodist since when I was home, because we were watching news from this side on TV. So I saw there's a lot of Zimbabweans staying on Methodist Church in South Africa. So already I was having that thing in mind. Okay, if this person didn't come and take me, I will go to Methodist. So now, when I'm eating my second mission, once I'm done eating, I have to go and look for Methodist Church. I just found out when I finished eating, I met those 2 ladies, and then they're wearing a Methodist church uniform, isn't it? Even if wherever I go, the uniform is the same. They're wearing that red tops and black skirts. I said, these ladies, which means Methodist somewhere close zero. That's where they're going. First thing that came into my mind, it said, follow them to where they are going. I said, no, if I follow them, they might think of maybe I want to rob them or what. I asked them. They said, where are you going? I told them, I want to go to Methodist Church. They said, it's just down there.
According to the African Convention on the Right of the Child, all children have the right to free primary education. The body also advocates for governments to provide secondary school education to secure the rights of migrant children. In Johannesburg, places such as SABC Mashinini Youth Shelter in Soweto accommodate young refugees.
The first day I arrived there, I don't know if it was luck or something. The person I met, that man who was a security at Methodist, told me, young man, you are very young to stay here. This place is not good for you.
Are you 16?
Yeah, 16, turning 17. Said, this place is not good enough for you. There's crime, people are dying here. So I think you should make plan. If you want to go to school, I will help you, because there's another young migrants who are staying here. They were taken to Soweto. They are going to school. They always come in town to attend school and stuff. Everything is provided, food, what. I said, it's a great off, because comparing now, like, it's an opportunity. In fact, that's my first opportunity. Education, free education. Now I think, okay, I failed to write my exams in Zim because my mother couldn't afford to pay for my registrations. So now I had this free education already, the first opportunity. And then I started to go to school. I was doing very well. Very, very well.
Did you find a shelter at that time?
Yeah, they brought me here.
In Soweto?
Yeah, in Soweto. Because all these guys, they're staying in town. And they were brought here because it was dangerous. You know where Methodist Church is? It was very dangerous. So I just slept at the church one night. And then they brought me this side. Now I started to go to school. I met this other guy here, and he told me, you see, you arrived here, food is not we don't have a reliable timetable for eating. So I advise you, I sometimes go to China Mall and give pamphlets, and I'll get something like 160 2 days, because it was 80 rand that time. Yeah. So if you can get that man, at least you'll buy yourself some more rights and stuff, those basic needs. Maybe later in the evening they'll give us sub. Said, okay. Now I started to go to school. To school during the day, Monday to Friday. During the week, I'll be at school. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be at work. And things were okay. Like, okay, everything's okay. And then as time goes on, I got expelled from school because of like the guys who were there, principal and stuff, they were corrupt. So I was always against them. So they mouthed me to the bishop that I'm influencing other kids to be against them. They are also from Zimbabwe.
In 2019, South Africa's unemployment rate was the highest since Stats SA started measuring the figures in 2008. This has made it increasingly difficult for locals to find gainful employment, let alone immigrants. After being expelled from school, Moses stayed at the shelter for 2 years without a job until he met someone who represented hope. Desperate to make ends meet, he joined the underworld for the second time in his life.
Then I met this other guy. He told me, do you want to go to work? I said, yeah, I want to go to work. He said, oh, okay. I'll take you to this other. He was Indian guy. He was doing those things for treating animal skins and stuff, and those ones were making lamps. So when I went there, I thought, maybe it's something good. Yeah, it was something good because I was not having.
Were they smuggling?
Yeah, I was not having any option. Ne? Went there. Okay, it's fine. Started to work. So it's time when I was working at first, I was going there and come back every day. But now he was trusting me too much. So I was now having a lot of information about what was going on at the workshop. He said, no, you are not staying at the workshop. They were doing those things like this. You are selling animal skins. So animal skins, it was just something like a cover up. It was because I think during the night when I was not staying there, I was not saying, okay, there are some guys who will come. At first, he was not involving me too much in those things. The first day I realized, okay, well, this is what happening here. He had this other guy. He was a Zimbabwean. He knows how to cut those horns and stuff. They were having rhino horns. Yeah, mostly rhino horns because that guy was supposed to come and make pieces for, I don't know, casinos things where they use, yeah. He was making those things with effort. So he's the one who told me, like, okay, see, this is what is happening here. Okay. Yeah. And when I was not staying there, I overheard him speaking on the phone. I think there was something was happening. So I was talking, I think, to his brother or his what he's saying, hey, I'm asking for a small favor for you to take him, my family out of South Africa. But you can't do that, and you know my life and my family's life is in danger. I didn't ask him that night. The following day, detectives arrived in the morning. I was there. I'm the one who was at the workshop. Oh, I was with this other Malawian guy. He was staying in town, but he was coming and going work. He was pirating every day. So they said, I want to save the place. Okay, they said. So they found a packet of bullets in the workshop. Said, where's the guns? Since you have the bullets, said, no, me, I'm just awake. I don't know anything. Said, but they said you're the one who is supervising. I said, no, me, I'm not a supervisor. I'm just the person. I'm like a security. Me, my duty is to look after these things. I don't own anything here. I said, okay. I want to see your boss. And they started threatening me. And I was beaten that day because that thing that I was telling you that I have confidence on what I will be saying. So I ended up telling, when you tell someone the truth, if you give someone facts, that person will become aggressive. They beat me. And then the following week, that 1 week I didn't work after they beat me. I didn't work.
Now 24, Moses is still unemployed. He has mouths to feed, but he himself doesn't know where his next meal will come from. With the coronavirus pandemic lockdown, his situation is deteriorating, but he refuses to go back to Zimbabwe, which he believes is far worse. It has been reported that some of foreign nationals have been excluded from the social relief being provided by government amid the crisis. Moses is anxious about his survival and that of his family.
Like the time when there was no corona, I think I stayed for almost 6 months, 6 to 7 months. But I was avoiding to pay my rent. It was something like 700 rand, buy a food to pay for her preschool because her mom is still going to school. She's at a college down there. But now, I don't know. I don't know what will happen. If this thing doesn't end, I can't take her to Zim. Like, okay, if I take them home, it will be bad. What if it gets worse when I'm there? Then they can come back here. We are also divided. They can repatriate because they've got the South African documents, both of them. Me, I'm still a Zimbabwean. I can now go out, come in this side. And what will happen? Now it will be worse. So here it's better to stay here, even though there's a distance. When I got a chance, I'll go and visit or I'll call them.
Thank you for listening. You can visit sabcnews.com or at SABC News on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube for the latest episode of In First Person. For SABC Digital News, I am Bomkazi Malobola.